Welcome back to the Rent Roll Queen podcast. I'm your host, Tarsi Taylor, and today's episode is sponsored by Buyer Rent Roll. Cold calling is one of the scariest things that we have to do in real estate. Today, I met my special guest, Daniel Lee from Plum Property, by cold calling him. So we are speaking everything about cold calls. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you on. Would you mind please introducing yourself?
Sure. My name's Daniel Lee, and I have been a real estate agent in the past. I now am a business owner of Plum Property, which is a residential real estate agency, sales and rentals. And then I have a secondary business called Plum Partners, which is kind of like a business services business where we help agents to launch, create, run, and grow their own business.
Yeah, awesome. That's fantastic. So today we are discussing cold calling, which is a subject that is so scary to so many people.
Yeah, it is. And it's crazy because if you're in real estate, cold calling should be a skill that you learn from the beginning, and whether you like it or not, you should be good at it. It helps you in so many ways. It helps you be a better agent, and most importantly, it helps bring business in.
Yeah, well, it's very daunting to pick up a phone and all of a sudden try to have a conversation with somebody that you genuinely don't know on the other end. So what are some strategies that people can put into place, or what can you do for yourself to basically build that momentum and confidence?
Confidence will come from repetitively doing the task over and over again, getting knocked down, but just getting back up and doing it again, and not worrying about someone shouting at you, someone being rude to you, you not getting the exact results you want on the day. Because you're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to have days where people do say rude things to you. You're going to have days where you sit in a room and you make 50 calls and you don't get much out of it. But then you will have days that are the complete opposite, where you'll make 50 calls and you book 4 appointments and you have some fantastic conversations and it feels like everything's going your way. And it's those bad days and those bad calls and those rude people which tend to shock people and deflate people, and then, from that stops them from actually, wanting to do the task. And then agents will just find excuses not to do it.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather be doing something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess there's like a fear of rejection that goes into it. And, like you just said about somebody getting yelled at, it really does deflate you, but it's not even don't take it personal, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I guess I was lucky because before I got into real estate, I had a job where that's all it was. The whole job was face-to-face cold marketing. So my very first job after I finished university, went overseas, got completely broke and spent all my money and came back home. And
as you're supposed to do.
Yeah, as you're supposed to do when you're in your early 20s. I got a job where I had to every day go into a supermarket or shopping mall, which, I was instructed to go to, and set up this little table. And then I was one of those guys that, when you're walking through the shopping center and there's, they're either selling raffle tickets or World Vision or whatever, something, but they'll look at you and you don't want to look at them because you know that they're going to go, hey, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
I was that guy. And I had to stand there and sell Optus home phone and broadband.
Yeah, right.
And I had to sell people on the spot. It was a commission-only job. And I had to stop people all day and try and get them to change their home phone and their broadband over to Optus from whatever other company they were with. And so that was my job for about 6 months. And it was rejection after rejection after rejection all day on my feet, looking at every person that walked by, stopping every single person, and then having to go through this quick this quick structure of a sale and close them. And if I didn't close them, I earned nothing. It was a commission-only role.
Wow, yeah.
Right? So I got $90 a sale. And I don't even know if that's legal now, but I don't think there's anything, I don't think a company can actually do commission-only like they did back then. But it was that back then. And so some days I would stand there all day in a shopping center and try all day and get rejected all day and go home with $0.
Yeah.
That only happened a few times, and I felt like punching a hole in the wall. But, come back the next day, do it again, and I might get 5 or 6 sales. But that job there gave me very thick skin, and I learned the power of numbers. And the power of numbers is a real thing that you just have to know. That if you talk, you got to know that if you talk to a certain amount of people, and we would have this sheet that we had to fill out every day, and it was, how many people did you stop? How many people did you talk to? How many people did you pitch to? How many people did you close?
Yep.
And then how many sales did you get? And every day we had to fill out this sheet. And so at the end of the day, we would have to go back and we would talk with our leader and show them our sheet, and we would have to explain why we had a good day or a bad day. And it was pretty weird. But I took that into real estate. So when I got into real estate, I started as a junior associate, and part of my role was to book appraisals for the lead agent.
Yep.
And I just said, I said, what do I have to do for that? Well, you've got to call people and you've got to book appointments to come over and, give them an idea of what their house is worth. And I said, just give me the phone. Easy. And I just got cracking, just straight into it all day. I didn't care, and because I was coming from that other job where, basically it was just rejection all day. This was just so easy for me. And so I just said, yeah, I'll do this. I know that, what are the numbers? Because I was so used to this sheet that I had to fill out. And even the real estate agency was like, what do you mean the numbers? I said, well, how many people will I have to call to get this many appraisals and then this many sales? And they said, we don't know, just make the calls. And so I just figured it out myself. I said, okay, I'll make 100 calls and I'll see how many appointments I can get. And in the beginning, I wasn't that good at it because I didn't know my scripts and dialogues and how to handle objections around the real estate. But I didn't care about the rejection. And I think that's the number one thing. Like, if you can just get over the fear of, this is literally just another person on the other end of the phone.
Yep.
And if that person is rude to you, to be rude to someone on the phone who you don't even know, that person obviously having a bad day.
That's right.
Right? Or they're just a miserable person and they're rude to everyone. So why would you let that upset you? I'm never going to see this person again. I don't know this person. I don't care. All I'm doing is giving them a call and I'm trying to offer them something of value. And if they don't want it, they can be rude to me. Whatever, next. Get on to the next one. And so I guess, because I was so good at just not caring at all about what the person on the other end of the phone thought, and I actually get to a point where I think it's funny if someone's getting mad at me. I would enjoy it so much that I would look forward to getting someone tough sometimes so I could try and turn them around.
Yeah,
I'm not just looking for the easy ones. And if you can get to that state of mind, it's just so much easier. And then what I said is competence builds confidence. So the more that you do this, the better you get at speaking with people on the phone and handling all of the objections. Okay, so because there's very common objections that you will get when you are calling someone and you're trying to get your foot in the door and ask them if they would like an update on their home. And there's all sorts of reasons that they will give you to not let you in.
Yes.
But the main two reasons are that they don't want to waste your time, because most people are nice and most people aren't selling when you call them. And so if they're not selling, but even though they may be interested in their home, in the price of their home, they may not want to take you up on the offer because they feel like, oh, well, I'm not selling. I don't want to waste this poor person's time.
Yep.
So that's really one of the main reasons why people will say no to an appraisal. But they'll give you any sort of other excuse as well. But that is actually the underlying reason. And the second underlying reason why they will say no to you is because they don't want to owe you anything.
Yeah,
okay, so saying yes to an appraisal, people have a fear that, if I let this agent into my door, into my life, what happens from there?
Yeah.
This guy's going to be knocking on my door every day with a buyer. They're going to be bugging me. I'm going to have emails and texts and calls from them every week, and people don't want that. So those are the two fears from the customer on the other end, is that A, they're going to waste your time, and B, they're going to have to owe you something. So if you can take those fears away from them with your call and help them to understand that this is just something of value that you can give them, there is no obligation, and they're not wasting your time, then you're going to have a lot more success in getting a lot of yeses and getting those appraisals.
Yeah, so it's just jump like from the fear of it and actually, like you've just said, understand that there is underlying issues that the person on the other side's going to have, like reservations, but just keep going.
Just keep going, because the more objections you get, the better you get at handling them. So I can handle any objection anyone gives me on the phone for why they don't need an appraisal right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's 7 main objections that you will get. May not be able to recite them off the top of my head right now, but they are along the lines of, I'm not thinking of selling right now. I don't want to waste your time. I need to ask my partner. I've already had a valuation, or I know what it's worth. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. Or I'm not ever leaving here. I'll be going out in a pine
coffin,
box.
yeah.
Okay. So those are the 7 main objections that you will get. So if you can handle those 7 objections, you can handle anything, because any other objection you get is somewhere along the lines of those. But they all actually stem back to the 2 things, which is, I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to owe you anything. Because the truth of the matter is that every single homeowner wants to know the value of their home at all times.
Yes.
Who doesn't? It's
Yeah.
more than likely, in most people's circumstance, the most valuable asset that they own. It is what they base their entire sort of back end of their wealth upon, is like the value of their home. And here we have a professional calling saying, hey, I know the value of your home. Would you like to know it? Now, if that was the question that you asked the person on the other end of the phone, if you just had the information right on hand, hey, Mr. Smith, it's Daniel here from Plum Property. I'm just calling because right in front of me here, I have the value of your home. Now, would you like to know it?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah.
What would be the answer? Oh, no. No, I'm not interested.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah. Everyone would want to know what you think it's worth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here we have agents calling people saying, hey, I'm going to be in the street. I'm doing appraisals for people. Would you like one? And then people say, no, thank you. I'm too busy. I'm not selling. I'm this, I'm that, whatever. The truth is they do want to know, but they don't want what comes with it.
Yes.
Okay. So they don't want to get an appraisal and then you hassle them for the rest of their life. They don't also want to feel bad for having you come over to their house, spend half an hour there, do up a report for them, send it to them, and then they're like, yeah, but I'm not selling. I told you that. Did I just waste this poor person's time?
Yeah.
When really, for us, it's great. We're like, yes, we got in. We met someone. There's another person on my pipeline who I can, nurture and potentially. So they don't understand that. Okay, so there's certain scripts and dialogues that you need to work on to help people to understand the value that you can bring them with this appraisal or this report, and that there is really no obligation, that you're not going to disturb them afterwards or be annoying, and that they're not going to waste your time. And there's all sorts of tricks and tactics, and I wouldn't say tricks, there's tactics, and there's ways of expressing what you're doing to help them understand these things. And then this will totally improve your results massively. And I improved my results so much. Like when I started, I wasn't actually that good, although I didn't have the fear. I also did a door knocking job for about 6 months as well.
So you really set yourself up for real estate, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the face-to-face, and then I went from that to like selling.
Yeah.
I sell it, Everclear water or whatever.
Yes.
Like those water coolers, I was going and I was selling them door to door residentially for a couple of months as well. So I've had both the door knocking and the cold calling experience under my belt before I got in. But I wasn't actually that good at getting appraisals immediately, although I didn't care about the fear of rejection. It was handling the objections and knowing what to say when people say, oh, no, thank you, I'm not thinking of selling.
Yeah.
And if you can get good at that, if you can get, number one, like just get over the fear, stop being a pussy, and just deal with it. Sorry for using that word.
I love it.
Like, stop being a little bitch, okay? You can't get anywhere in life with things just being easy. If it was easy, then everyone would do it and everyone would be a millionaire, okay? So this is one of those hard things that you're just going to have to get used to and suck it up and get good at it, okay? And stop being a little bitch, because it's not that hard. Yeah, people are going to yell at you, but the results you can get from it are amazing, and you have to do this, okay?
Yeah.
Going to the gym and pushing weights is hard too, but you can't bitch and moan about not being in shape if you're not going to go and do the hard work, right? So I got once you can get really good at those objections, your results would skyrocket. And I'll give you an example. When I was first making cold calls for the first 2 weeks, I would sit in rooms for like 2-hour blocks at a time, and I would come out with 1 or 2 appraisals. If I was lucky, maybe a curbside, and sometimes I would be able to book an appraisal to go take with the agent. Like I would call that a hard appraisal, when we actually go there to the home and meet with the person, which is obviously better because you get a better relationship with them. But I might do a 2-hour block and get one of each, a curbside and by the end of 6 months later, I would talk to 100 people, and I would easily book 6 face-to-face appointments and probably have another 15 curbside appraisals after that. So the results just absolutely skyrocketed once I was able to handle those 7 most common objections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's incredible, because I know for myself, I've got the Real Estate Business Owners Conference that I launched last year, and I tried to bring that, and obviously I've had to ring real estate agents, real estate business owners with regards to the actual conference. And I remember just being like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I knew the success for the conference was based on me having those conversations. And in the end, I'd have to actually tell myself, Tarsi, shut the fuck up and make the call.
And make the calls.
But once I started, it was so easy to have conversations. And because of what I do, I was then able to have business conversations. And so then I met more people and it was fabulous.
Yeah, exactly. And, it is always that first call that's the hardest.
Yep.
Even when you're, even when you get experienced at it, you still have that little thing where, okay, it's cold calling time, you go in the room, and it is always that first call that you get the most anxiety.
Yes.
And if you start off with a bad couple of calls, it can really rock you. Whereas if you start and your very first call is super positive and the person was really open and you had a conversation, from then on your session will just be way better because it just completely changed your mood.
Yeah.
So it is just really important to go in there and just know, like, I could get knocked down first go, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to put a smile on my face and I'm going to, make that next call.
I'm going to make it successful. And it is, like you said, it's all about just keep going. Don't stop just because you got a few rejections. Just keep going. And if you truly want the success in your business, it's just part of being in business.
Yeah. And also with the keep going, after each call, if you had a difficult one or you had some objections thrown at you, have a think about, okay, if someone says this to me next time, what am I going to say? Because you will get it again.
Yes.
And you'll get it again and again and again. And in the beginning, someone says to you, I'm not thinking of selling. And you go, oh, okay, no problem. Would you like me to send you any other information? No, I'm okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Thanks so much for your time. And you hang up. And that's as far as you go. But then when you get very experienced, someone says to you, I'm not thinking of selling. Oh, fantastic. I totally understand you're not thinking of selling. And I'm really happy that you said that, because if you were thinking of selling, I'd be wanting to talk to you about, how many buyers are going to come through your house, what sort of marketing you should do and things like that. But I don't want to talk to you about that because you're not thinking of selling, right? Yeah, because you just sold. told me. So what I'm actually doing at the moment is anyone that's not selling in your street, I'm just giving them a quick update on the value of their home. It's nothing serious. I'm going to be in your street tomorrow and the next day doing appraisals for a couple of your neighbors. So it takes 5 minutes, and it's just some really, really important and interesting information about your property in specific. So if I could do that for you, it's absolutely no trouble at all. In fact, I'm going to be doing it for every house in the street anyway, just to update our records in our own system. So I may as well give it to you. And then that whole response just completely changes the situation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So see what I did there is I threw in something called the Joneses theory, which is everybody's doing it. If everyone's doing it, then it's okay to do it. They're not feeling singled out. If everyone is doing it, then, oh, okay, well, I may as well do it too.
Yeah.
The other thing I did is I said I'm in the street anyway, so it's not going to be a waste of my time. Oh,
Yes.
okay, well, he's not coming all the way here just for me.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm in the street, I could pop by, you know. I'm basically showing them they're not wasting my time. But what I'll do for you is once a year, I'll just update that report for you so that each year you can see how your most valuable asset is growing in the marketplace.
Which is fantastic, because then you're building rapport with them as well.
Well, that's the idea at the end of the day. The whole idea of getting these appraisals is to have an opportunity to start a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Okay? Because everyone in the marketplace, well, actually 80% of people who are going to sell their homes, they already have one or two agents that they know that they're going to contact about talking to them about selling their home. So, you know, you as an agent, you want to be that person that a homeowner thinks of calling for some information when they're going to sell their home. So the whole idea of getting these appraisals, and sometimes it may seem pointless because you're doing appraisals for people that aren't selling. They've told you, they've made it clear they're not selling. They're going to live there forever, you know, and there's no indication that there's any business from that person. And you may think, well, why am I wasting my time doing this? Well, the reason is because you never know what's going on in people's lives.
That's it.
And so many people will say they're not selling. So many people will actually believe that they're not selling. And then something happens to those people in their lives. There's so many reasons why people move. Someone gets a job. They have a baby and they need to upgrade. They get divorced. They need to move somewhere else because of their position. Their child is going to some school that they got a scholarship for, so they need to move. There's like so many reasons that at that particular time when you're talking to that person, they may not be thinking of selling, but within a year or two, their circumstances could change. So you need to get in the door with just everyone. Everyone that you can possibly get in the door with that owns a property in your specific area that you want to look after is valuable to you.
Yeah.
And 7% of all homes sell every single year. So if you have 100 homeowners that you know, that you've done an appraisal for, that know, like, and trust you, they know who you are, they know what you do, they know where to find you, you've done something for them in the past, and then they're going to sell in the next year. The chances of you getting a call in for a listing presentation doesn't guarantee you the business, but you at least get the chance to talk to them.
Yeah.
Your chances of getting that call are very, very high.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've never done anything for someone and all you've ever done is drop flyers in their letterbox, you've never spoken to them, they've never got to know you. They've never connected to you. Your chances of getting a call from them are very slim.
Yeah.
And even if you have the only time you really do get calls from those people are when you have very big market share. So you're a very, very dominant agent and you have signs everywhere, and every second open home in the area is run by you or your team. And it's almost hard not to call you just because you're so present.
Yeah.
But to become one of those agents, you have to do all of the stuff that we're talking about for many, many years to then build up so much momentum that you are that agent now.
Yes.
So that agent doesn't get there from not doing any of the stuff that we're talking about right now.
That's right. That's right.
And the other thing is, if someone's going to call you just based on marketing, so they get your flyer in the letterbox and they don't have a relationship with you, and they've just got this flyer and you get a call off them and they're saying, hey, I got your flyer, I'm thinking of selling. Well, that's good, but the chances are that they're also calling in 4 or 5 other agents because they have no relationship with any agent.
Yes.
And they're just basically picking out some names from some marketing they've seen, and you're just going in on an equal playing field with all these other agents. So the chances of you of converting that listing is going to be harder than if you had had a pre-established relationship with them before.
Yeah, look, cold calling is definitely a strategy that most business owners really need to take a real look at and implement into their business, because not everybody is doing it. And if you do want to stand out and continue to grow, it's a great way to start connecting with people. But it's got to be, you can't just do it once either. Like, it's one of those things where you need a strategy in place that you're not just doing it once and it's set and forget and that's it, it's done. You've got to be doing it continuously over the period that you're owning your business.
Well, absolutely. It's, as a realist, I think any business should cold call in the beginning, because who's going to do anything with you when you're a new business? And that includes an agent. An agent is a little micro business in itself within the umbrella of the agency. So, yes, it needs to be consistent. And to give you an example, when I was a fresh agent on my own after I graduated from being an associate and I went out on my own to get my own listings, I made it a non-negotiable goal of mine to have 20 face-to-face in-home appraisals every single month with owners within the patch of the postcode or the suburb that I was working. It had to be within my suburb, 20 face-to-face appraisals every single month. And on top of that, I would get curbside appraisals or people that didn't want me to come over. And so there'd be probably another 20 of those on top of that. So every month I was creating 40 new relationships with 40 homeowners, 20 of those being face-to-face minimum.
Yeah.
And I was just absolutely that was my one strict rule every month, is that no matter what, I will hit that amount of appointments. And I did every month. I did it every month, and and maybe faltered once, but I would make it up in the next month. If I went on holiday for 2 weeks or something and didn't have as many days in the month to make my target, but I would make up for it either leading up to or after. But after the first year, I had about 400 contacts within my suburb who now knew who Daniel Lee was. He was a real estate agent. I know he works for LJ Hooker, which I did at the time. I've got his phone number. I've got his email. They've got emails from me. They've got a package from me in the mail. Yeah. They've got my fridge magnet on their fridge. And I've done something for them, and I've met them face to face, and I built that relationship with them so that they at least know he seems like a nice young man, and that I might do business with one day. And just doing that alone within the first 12 months, and that's all I focused on, was just, if I just do that, I just know people, I'll get listings. I just know it. And I did. And I got my first listing within 30 days. Although I must admit that first listing did come off a letter. But within 3 months, I had about 5 listings, of which 2 of them came from appraisal calls. Yeah. And from there, really, you don't see the results of this for maybe 6 months or so. Yeah. Like, there's no instant results. Yeah. And that's the other thing that puts agents off is, I went and called for 4 hours today, and next week I don't have a listing yet. And then they do it another session, and the next week they don't have a listing, and then 3 weeks in they're like, cold calling doesn't work. Where are my listings? This stuff does not pay you back for ages. Yeah. This hard work, you don't know how much it's earning you. Yes. But it's all future earnings. Yes. And yeah. We're talking.
Well, you said it before, like you said before about going to the gym, right? It's the same flex. Like, you've got to continuously go to get the results. You're not going to get the results in the first week, the second week, the third week. You've got to keep doing it.
Absolutely. Go to the gym for, 3 days, 3 good sessions for 1 week. You'll look in the mirror and you'll look the same. Do it for 2 weeks. You'll look in the mirror, you'll look the same. don't look in the mirror, do those 3 hard sessions for 6 months,
Yeah.
and you'll come back and you'll go, I'm a different person. And that's the same with cold calling.
Yeah.
If you do it strictly and consistently, and you have targets that you hit, I can tell you, if you get in front of 20 people who own property, get in their house every single month, and you give them a price update, and then from there, you just continuously nurture them. So put a nurture program in place. So that is once every 6 months, a quick call just to check in. Do you need an update on your home? Thanks again for having me around 6 months ago. It was lovely meeting you. And I just let you know, advice is always free with me. I hope you don't mind receiving the occasional letter in your mail from me and things like that. Okay, awesome. So that call every 6 months. Once a month, a newsletter about the area emailed to them, bulk email.
Yep.
Takes an hour to put together, sent out to all the people in the area that own a home, talking about where property prices are going in their area, some sales, your recent listings, anything else you can put in there. Videos of testimonials, property videos you've done, what's going on in that suburb, right? Once every 2 months, they get an addressed letter from you in the mail, not a loose leaf, like an addressed stamped envelope. So, they're definitely going to get it, and they're going to open it up, and it's going to be like, Dear Tarsi, just thought I'd quickly write to you to let you know what's going on in the area. We've just had these couple of sales, some great results. Yep. It's pretty standard stuff. And most of the time it's pretty junk, but, have a flyer on the back with testimonials, recent sales, blah, 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 but have some calls to action in here. A lot of people are just curious as to where their house is worth now. I know I've appraised your home in the past, but you might be surprised at the difference it's worth now. Give me a call if you need an update.
Yep. Little things that you can actually implement to grow your business significantly. So that's Daniel, honestly, that was absolutely incredible. And cold calling, like I said, is something that's very scary to a lot of agents, but you really do need to put a strategy in place. Thank you so much for coming on the show. What I would like to do, if it's okay with you, is I'm going to put all your details in the caption. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can, and they can run through some more strategies with you.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on the show.